This message is for my people. For my people. Those of you who know who you are and those of you who don't. Come out of her. She's done nothing but lie to you. Who is her? She was first known as the Catholic Church. Then she just had offshoots. She is organized religion. Come out of her. She does not follow Yah's word. She has her own version, but it's not Yah's word. She'll pick and choose from Yah's word, but then add on her heathenistic garbage to keep you, Israel, in a perpetual state of sin and rebellion, to stop you from moving into and returning to your Abba's covenant. He's not going to change. It's not about having your version of his truth. He's not going to change. From the beginning, from Adam to me, he has said, my part of the covenant, I will give you the Garden of Eden. I will give you all things. You can have all of it. Your part, obey me. Obey my voice. Fast forward. Abraham, he got covenant with him. Made it official, ratified it with animal blood. Moshe, he spoke to Moshe and gave him 10 commandments. He wrote them with his own hand. You don't understand the magnitude of that. The heavenly host was fascinated. All of creation was like, ah. The Melech themselves said, what is man that thou art mindful of him? And the Son of Man that thou visited them? This is the Elohim of all creation. When Elohim says something, you better believe, you better listen. He didn't give it to everyone. He gave it to you for everyone else to benefit through your blessings. See, the design was you were going to be so incredibly blessed. The entire world would benefit. The scripture says the whole world groaneth, the whole creation groaneth, waiting for the appearance of the sons of Yah. For you to be set back in place, for you to come back to the covenant. Yah's not going to change for you. You have to change. What parent? See, a child can bring a parent one of 2 ways, 3 really. But the main 2 are you can bring your parent joy, pride. You can bring your parent peace in their old age. How? Obedience. When you tell your child what's best and you watch them do it and succeed, they're blessed and you're blessed. But what's the other side to that going? Disobedience. Disobedient child brings heartbreak, tears, anguish, Disobedient child forces money on books, visitation, incarceration, and death. What's the difference? Disobedience. See, when you come back to the covenant, Yah is going to fulfill his part. I've had so-called preachers speak on Deuteronomy 28. Oh, the blessing of Abraham are yours. But they preach it from the vantage point of a thief. Let me explain. If this were in the store and I wanted it, it's one of two ways I can get it. I could go up to the counter and pay the price and put it in my pocket and go about my day. Or I could just put it in my pocket and steal it and not pay the price. See, this so-called church wants you to believe, oh, who we call Jesus paid it all. He paid for it. That's yours. Go on and get it. It's free. No. It's not what the king said. When you read it for yourself, there's a small 2-letter word that's repeated among the blessings that you're claiming, that you put in songs. The blessing of Abraham are mine. You want the blessings, but you don't want to pay for them. How do you pay for them? You say, oh, no, that's works. We don't do works. No. What did the book say? I don't care what you say. He said, if you keep my commandments. That's the covenant. That's your part. If you obey the voice of Yahweh, your Elohim, that's your part of this covenant, this unbreakable, this unshakable, this unchangeable covenant. Read it. Read those first 14 verses and ask if that's what you want in your life. And then read it again and ask, is that where you are in your life? Are you there? Are you the lender? See, they want to think that this is about the money. It's no. That's a byproduct. That's nothing. It's the blessings. Being blessed, coming and going. Having your children and your grandchildren blessed. Being blessed by the most powerful being that exists. Entering into covenant with him. And you allow that Roman Catholic Church and its offshoots, you allow these man-made doctrines to make you disavow what the king said. The very words of the Most High, spoken and written in his own hand. He just gave you 10 as a base. Like he gave you 10 toes to stand on. He gave you 10. But you perpetually violate, most of you, at least one. Few of you, so-called Christians, keep the Sabbath day. You don't. And you're okay with that. Because that man-made doctrine told you. You didn't have to. Here's my question. Even if that be true, which it is not, but even if that be true and you say, I don't have to, are you that child that stands up to his father and say, I'm grown now. I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to do what you say. Okay, you don't. But then you want to say, I don't have to listen to you, but can I get a couple of dollars? Can I get some blessings? But I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to obey you, but my hand is out. Then when the enemy put them dollars on your hand, you think it's coming from Yah. No, sir. He doesn't change. It's keeping you powerless, people. This is why there can be a church on every corner and the neighborhood doesn't change. Because these churches, whether they're doing it in ignorance or because they're simply greedy, they're keeping people in a perpetual state of sin by not telling them who they are. Why do you meet on Sundays? Who told you that? Was that in the Word? No. I'm not trying to convince you. Please don't get me wrong. Because there's one thing he showed me in his Word. If you don't listen to Abraham, if you don't listen to Moses, if you don't listen to the prophets, if you don't listen to the apostles, if you don't listen to the disciples, if you don't listen to Yahushua HaMashiach, the King, then I know you're not going to listen to me either. But for those that got a shot, listen. Come back to the covenant. Read those first 14 in Deuteronomy. Read those blessings before you read those curses. Because they're both going to paint a picture of you and your history and no one else's who exists on the planet. Yes, there has always been slavery. There's slavery to this day. But we're talking about an entire nation. You don't understand how large Yehuda as a tribe and Benjamin were. This was a nation. The southern kingdom, a nation put into slavery for 400 years. Fulfilling the prophets and the prophecies to the letter. No one else fits the bill. You don't have to believe me. Take it before the Most High. Anyone that knows me, and it's only a handful, know that there are some things I don't play with. I am not, nor have I ever been a perfect man. My sins are innumerable. But since my Yah has woken me up and allowed me to see who I am, then I know and I recognize and I come back to the covenant. You do what you choose. Read it for yourself. One last thing. When the Most High gave that parable about Lazarus and the rich man, I thought on that for a while. And now I see another layer to it. Most of us who've read the Bible know the story. Rich man goes to hell, sees Lazarus, wants him to cool his tongue. The point of the story I'm making right now was, he begged Father Abraham, send somebody to my brothers so they don't come to this place. See, he knew it was too late for him, but he had love for his brothers. He didn't want his brothers to come there. But what was Abraham's response? They have Moses and the prophets. Him knowing that he also had Moses and the prophets and still ended up there, he says, wait, but if somebody goes from the dead, no, they might not have believed Moses. Maybe they didn't believe the prophets because everybody didn't, because it wasn't for everybody. But if somebody from the dead comes, surely they'll believe. And he told him, you know what? If one comes from the dead, they still won't believe. He rose from the dead. And you're still not taking his word. He who kept the Sabbath, because he said we would keep it to all generations. His followers kept the commandments. The prophets kept the commandments. Yah's voice gave 10. Are you saying you have to commit adultery? Are you saying you have to murder? Are you saying you have to steal, that there's no way you can live your life without stealing? No. You were made to believe you couldn't keep it. But you can, with the testimony. And for those who say, as long as I have the testimony of Hamashiach, I'm good, read Revelations. When he says, who are these? He said, those are they who kept the commandments and the testimony. Not either or, but both. Yah don't change his mind for you. Now you can stick with her version, that hoe over there, that's what I call it, the Bible calls it a harlot, same thing. If you choose. But when that day comes, don't say you didn't know. Just say you chose to stay. You got that case of, what do they call it? That syndrome? Stockholm syndrome. But when your oppressor's penalty begins to fall, you might just think on this day, hopefully you'll be on the right side of the wrath.